It's
I just want
likely
to go
that
to an All That Remains concert and not have to worry about my mortgage.
I can't do anything about the mortgage, but I know a guy about the concert. Like, there is a likelihood that the Republicans are going to lose the House, right? Like, that's kind of what it is.
Certainly feels that way.
If the economy is doing well, I think the Republicans can keep the House. That's not saying they will. I think they can. If the economy is not doing well, they're guaranteed to lose it.
I still don't think so.
What, you don't think they're guaranteed to lose it?
I think that we are waiting with bated breath on Watson v. RNC to see how the Supreme Court rules on mail-in voting. Even a narrow ruling, like, just destroys the Democrat voter base. If the Supreme Court, are you familiar with Watson v. RNC?
Please enlighten me.
Simple question: can any jurisdiction count ballots after Election Day?
Oh, I would say
and it seems very likely because of the oral argument. Supreme Court's going to say no, you cannot. If this ruling was in place in 2018, Trump would have held the midterms, breaking a historic trend.
Yeah.
But what happened was in 2018, after Election Day, everybody on the right celebrating no blue wave. The Republicans did it. They staved off a Democrat blue wave. And then 3 weeks later, somehow, Democrats all won like 10 seats or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's because we've got a great sponsor. It's the Rumble Wallet. Guys, go to wallet.rumble.com/TimcastIRL. Shout out to Rumble. Quick question. How much control do you have over your money right now? Technology has changed everything, and now it's changing how money works. Crypto started as a niche, but now it's going mainstream. Faster payments, more control, fewer middlemen. It's not hype. It's just where things are going. And getting started today is easier than you think. With Rumble Wallet, you can buy Bitcoin, hold dollar-backed stable coins, even own digital gold backed by real gold, all in one place. It's a non-custodial crypto wallet, which means you, not a bank or a platform, control access to your funds. Setup is simple. It connects with MoonPay, so you can use your debit card, credit card, or bank account and be up and running in minutes. You can even use your Rumble Wallet to support your favorite Rumble creators like me directly. Take control of your money now. Scan the QR code, click the link in the description, or go to wallet.rumble.com/TimcastIRL and get started with Rumble Wallet today. Everyone in the media went, well, it's called a mirage because they were still receiving ballots that were arriving late, and once they counted them, Democrats won.
Right.
You take that away, and Spencer Pratt wins second place in the LA mayoral race.
But I do think that the what happened Tuesday in New York and the shock that a lot of Democrats are feeling because of it, I think that might actually have an effect on the midterms as well. If people think that actual communists, people are, so one of the things that they talked about a lot was defund the police, or some of the things is defund the police, and they want open borders. Those are two things that are unpopular with independents and Republicans and most Democrats. If you get a lot of people that are heading to Congress that actually, are going up against that radicalized, you might see people say, "I'm not sending that nutbag to Congress,"
right.
Because it's totally unpopular. The idea of defund the police is outside of the realm of reasonable politics, and the idea of open borders, like we shouldn't have a border at all, which is Shvala, I think is how you pronounce her name. She was saying there shouldn't be a border. Anyone that wants to come and go should be able to go as they please. Those kind of things, Americans across the political spectrum are against, except for the most extreme left wingers. So it's possible that the Republicans hold Congress. If they do, then we'll see more of the Trump policies being pushed. If they don't, the Democrats are just going to throw a wrench in the works, and all the things that we're talking about, hoping for, forget about them. Forget it. Like there's going to be papers of impeachment. They're going to be doing everything they can to block stuff.
Sure.
Forget about any kind of advancements. They're probably going to do things that'll try to prevent more deportations. All that stuff's out the window. So I understand what you're saying. And I agree, I would like to see more, but it's so important that we don't allow crazy communists to take control, to get into a position where they're influencing national politics, where a handful of Congress people are influencing national politics. And I understand, like I said, I understand being upset about whether it be the Epstein files or being upset about not enough deportations. Your options are not, oh, well, I'm going to turn my back on the Republicans and not vote and not try to promote the Republican candidates because I'm mad at Donald Trump. You're only going to help the communists if you do that. And I'm not using the term communist lightly. It's not like I'm talking about
communists.
Yeah, they're
Not Red
openly
Scare shit. It's I
yeah.
get it.
It's like there's two options, and people say, "Oh, I'm not going to vote for the lesser of the two evils." Blah blah blah. Again, you're not voting for the lesser of the two evils. You're voting to possibly continue the policies that the parts of Donald Trump that you do like, or you're not voting and saying, well, I'm not gonna get out and vote, and I'm not gonna help the GOP because I don't like them, I'm mad about them, and so if so when the Democrats win, all the stuff you want, forget about it.
I'm not naive, and I'll always vote red over blue, but this is the problem. If you had just shot straight, you could have done a lot of different ways. Like inflation's at the same Biden era levels. Our strategic petroleum reserve is at all-time low since the 80s. What'd you say?
Meaningless.
I mean, it's not meaningless to me. And the problem is Republicans might not show up
again,
to vote.
Period. That's the only meaningful thing about it, I would argue. How do you muster up popular support? I talked about this, the Dave Rubin Parker debate. I don't know if you guys saw it. Everybody made fun of Dave
I haven't watched
Rubin.
any Dave Rubin content.
And well, it was Jubilee. And Parker said, by what metric has Trump improved the country, like GDP, inflation? And Dave didn't have an answer. See, the problem with that is that's like a high school freshman whose first discovery of news. And they're like, wow, inflation's really bad. That must mean Trump is doing a bad job. So I'll give you a simple analogy. Let's say you're driving to work and your car tire explodes. You got to get it replaced. So you call a tow truck. That costs you $200. You bring it to an AutoZone or wherever, you get a mechanic. They change out your tires, another $200. Your bank account now says negative $400 for the month. I then look at your bank account and go, holy crap, this guy must be retarded. You're running your business into the ground. You're minus $400 this month? I mean, wow. You should not be in charge of your finances. You're going to be like, whoa, hold on. I had an unexpected expense to fix things so I can keep doing my job. Sometimes you have to spend money. It doesn't mean you're doing poorly. It means you're spending money to improve things. The argument is inflation is up. Sure. People said the tariffs were bad because they caused inflation to go up and it stunted economic activity. But what's the long-term effect of the tariffs? Making American industry more competitive against
onshoring
Chinese.
Again.
Yeah,
Indeed.
potentially
So guess
subverting the
what?
need for
We
income
look at
tax.
our bank account and we say the numbers don't look good. And the child, like Parker, this 20-something-year-old kid who doesn't know anything about economics, goes, wow, look at the economy. Inflation is terrible. And I say, yeah, look at the tariff policy. And look how it was making onshoring possible and making it more competitive for American companies to bring back manufacturing so that in the long term, spending this money means we make more. But see, these people who are entering politics who don't know anything and are adamant they do attack Donald Trump over things that are actually good because they're looking at surface level vanity metrics. So to say inflation is bad, it's like, sure, what we want to consider about inflation is the average person needs to buy food. Can they buy food? Because if they can't, we die. Everyone dies. The bigger question is...
It's actually 6 months where everybody gets healthier.
Sure, that's actually a fair point. But unless you got kids, you're going to be mad your kids can't eat. So the point ultimately is when we look at any of these metrics and try to understand what is going on, are we actually assessing the strategy behind it? Or are we just waving our hands in the air like sixth graders yelling at the teacher when the teacher actually knows what's going on?
Yeah, but Tim, it's not a moot point because the voters, you're on a 4-year cycle, 2 years with the midterms. They vote with their pocketbook. So yes, onshoring American manufacturing, obviously you need to do it. Why would you bring in Howard Nutlick to intentionally write it wrong so he benefits off the rebates?
Because Trump's
if it gets
imperfect and makes
overturned?
mistakes quite a whole bit, huh?
And then he's connected to the Epstein files. He's been caught repeatedly lying. It's like you didn't have a team vetting this better. You let this man write this language in a way it would get overturned.
Is your argument, let's go with the Democrats and chop off kids' balls? Is that the argument?
No,
I mean,
that's not. That's a false equivalence. I'm saying
not.
that, like, I see a pattern with Trump where I don't know if he's listening to the last person in the room, but you've been through hell, all this lawfare. You were fighting for Team America. Why would, at the finish line, would you not vet these freaking people better?
He certainly knows something you don't.
I mean, I didn't write a tariff policy to re-onshore and then have it overturned.
Again, like, my attitude when I approach all the news is I'm not the billionaire celebrity president,
It's just
and I
the
don't know what the
execution,
plans
though.
are.
It's plain for us to see. Like,
No,
that
it's
could have
not.
went through. Even the Supreme Court justices said if this was written in a different way, this wouldn't have happened.
Sure, I think there's very obvious mistakes like John Bolton, who betrayed Trump. Trump made mistakes that we can plainly see. As for the deeper issues of policy, we just don't know. And it's like, if you don't like what Trump is doing, then you can abstain. Fine. And what happens when you abstain?
Democrats win.
Indeed.
I'm afraid that's going to happen.
So you have a reality, which is In politics, the idea that you will ever get someone who represents you is the stupidest thing imaginable. You can only get the best possible outcome. And sometimes it's a net negative. That's why I didn't vote in 2016. I was just like, Hillary Clinton or Trump, I'm not voting for this. Trump wins. And then we see some good things. Moving towards withdrawing troops from the Middle East, failed strategies coming to an end. Most importantly, we had Joe Biden with his stupid DEI policies. His plan moving forward was, contracting DEI
That's how Bach
stuff.
got the job on
all that awful stuff. And I said,
DEI
okay,
hire.
Trump has been hamstrung the whole time. He's been unable to do his job. He's been accused of being a Russian. He's actually done fairly well in his presidency. I'm going to vote for him in 2020. And I did. Is Donald Trump perfect? Far from it. Is he bad? He certainly is. He's actually a net positive presidency. I do not see any function in taking the majority, using the majority of my time to say why Trump is bad, instead of saying Trump's doing things that are good. There's many things we don't understand what he was doing. We'll criticize him where he needs to be criticized, but that's it. He's the guy. And Vance or Rubio, whoever we get next, it's the only guy. Unless you want the deep state to come back in and start gulagging people like Alex Jones 2.0 to everybody else. And they will. What happened to him will happen to each and every one of us if Trump does not win.
You don't fear Trump's being bubble wrapped, though?
What does that mean?
That means that they intentionally hold information back from him and bring surrogates in that are affiliated with the deep state to tell him what he wants to hear to get them to agree to an end policy, which is not what he wants.
No, because the shuttering of U.S., if there is anything that proves Trump is not deep state, it's when he blew up USAID. Like that was,
and the fact that all the
I'm not saying
Republicans
he
hate
is
him.
deep state. I'm saying he's intentionally being kept in the dark. Like,
yeah, no, I don't think that's the case because he blew up the USAID. Like Trump wouldn't even. How does Trump even know the mechanisms of USAID unless someone came to him and said, "This is the move we have to make to stop the deep state," and he gutted billions of dollars from this machine in Northern Virginia. Like, man, it's like if that's all Trump does and he just resigned
What
right
about all
now,
the
I'd be
tens
like,
of
what a
millions
great
that died as a result of that?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What about all the Lizzo albums that aren't getting sold? I wonder.
USAID was buying Lizzo albums?
USAID was funneling money to various NGOs, and I just think it's very strange that the moment USAID goes belly up, rap falls off the Billboard Top 40, and no one's going to these shows anymore, and no one's buying these albums anymore. So it is curious to me, and I'm not saying the USAID was funneling money to buy albums.
All that remains.
I'm saying it is a fact that USAID was funding cultural programs internationally and domestically, and various other slush funds
And George Soros.
that were used to I would argue, were likely propping these things up. Now that this mechanism is gone, what else did we see? Lee Zeldin uncovered $7 billion was given to an NGO 1 month after it was formed.
Yeah, the Afghani
What are they
Sesame Street.
doing with that money? They are buying influence with it. That influence evaporated. Now, all of a sudden, there's this big shift where these rap stars, R&B, and pop divas can't sell tickets to stadiums and they can't sell albums anymore. And I just think it's a strange coincidence. Again, rap fell off the Billboard Top 40 for the first time since the 90s, all at once, literally all at once, right around the same time USAID went belly up. It's a coincidence, I guess. All I know is there are a lot of people who live in Northern Virginia who don't do work, and we're getting millions to billions of dollars funneled to them so they could own mansions and live like lords off our backs because the Democrat uniparty machine, the old school Republicans as well, had created a mechanism by which they were funneling our money into a network of NGOs that kept them permanently propped up, and Trump blew it up. Now, that is not deep state. That has them livid. You saw what they did in Virginia. They are trying to have their last bastion of the deep state, and they are losing. So I'm pretty happy so far with what we are seeing, albeit there are things that I think Trump could do better.
What would be your number one criticism of Trump?
Well, probably the Epstein stuff. First and foremost, Dan Bongino needed to only do one thing. Do you know what Dan Bongino could have done to prevent all of this?
Tell the truth.
He could have gone, oh, no, of course not. The truth. Man, learn your politics. Dan Bongino could have come out and said, he could have went to a podium and says, as the deputy director of the FBI, I have taken a look at all of this stuff, and what I found is sickening. We are starting to go through this. It's going to take time, but we are on the case. Thank you. And then that assuages for a short amount of time. People go, let's go. Dan Bongino's here. Instead of him coming out and going, Epstein killed himself, which immediately flipped everything on its head, he could have come out and said, we're on it. A year later, because everybody forgets, everyone completely will forget about it. When they come back out, Bongino then need only say, if we do this wrong, pedophiles will go free. We have to do it right. So give us time. And then you get a few more months. People are angry about it. He comes out again and says, you guys got to understand, we're talking about decades of impropriety and criminal activity. And we are going to be building one of the biggest cases this country has ever seen. It's not something we can do overnight. And that's going to buy you another 6 months. That's all he had to do. And there would be no Epstein debacle. I'm sorry, debacle. Debacle.
Oh, I totally agree. They could have rolled this out. They could have done a slow rollout, and then they could have gotten it in stages. It's not like the economy collapses overnight. You go, here's all these scumbags. This is 30% of the GDP. See you later. Like, you could have done it.
Yeah, they did everything wrong. So my criticism is one of two things. They could have handled this properly and honestly. And if they didn't want to do it honestly, begrudgingly honestly, or they could have just been better liars. So Trump has had arguably, well, not even arguably, but bad PR with like Kristi Noem, bad PR, Pam Bondi, bad stuff. Like, come on. You know what really bothers me the most about it is that I know I would do a better job. I know,
dude. That scares the hell out of me too.
Uh-huh. You would do a better job.
Yeah, and I'm retarded.
But what I will say is this. Often when I see these things, I'm like, it must have been really bad for Dan Bongino to come out and say he killed himself, because that was a PR disaster for the Trump
Even if it was true.
Something, I'm like, what's stopping him from just saying, give us time? That's it.
Do you think Maha is being sidelined?
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Trump came out, was like, glyphosate's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so I have a theory for we have the Roundup ruling stuff. But
well, I already told you. It's that they're creating a spoiler candidacy by taking the MAGA, the left-leaning side of MAGA, to pull from moderates so the Democrats can't win.
But those are easy wins that both sides would agree on. Hey, we're going to get red dye out. Hey, we're going to get Roundup out. Hey, we know we're not going to give immunity and liability protection to these scumbags that injected you with these substances.
Trump's base and cultural conservatives are voting Republican no matter what. How do you get the middle-of-the-road Democrats who only vote on hating Trump to not vote Democrat?
Spoiler.
RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens have a spoiler campaign or promotion. And then I'm telling you, like, don't you guys know, like, people who are libs who are like, their only real issue is they hate Trump?
Yeah, of course.
Tons of people.
Like, that's the vast majority of them.
So you give them a non-woke alternative, and they're going to be like, I ain't voting for those wackaloon commies. I'm not voting for the socialist Mamdani. I'm going to vote for Tulsi. I'm going to vote for Tucker. And then Democrats lose 10%. Republicans can't lose. That's the play. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.